Press that button and go live. Just like that. Thursday night, 2000 hours. High G's. Trying to upgrade the place a little bit. And what better way to celebrate upgrading the place by welcoming along this gentleman, this evening's guest. I spoke to him earlier on and I gave him what I thought was his proper title, and he corrected me. Oh, no, that's not the case. I met this gentleman, you're knocking on over 30 years ago now, showing our age, 1990, probably, RAF Bucking. We have a few things in common. Some of our musical choices are similar, keeping it on theme. But also, of all of the people that I have met in my days during and post the military, there weren't many people. I'm not saying this to be proud, but I obviously learnt from my mistakes, and I made a lot of mistakes. And this evening's guest made a lot of mistakes. If you count the rap sheet or the charge sheet that we would say, I think the two of us had very similar records for getting into the shit. We also, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain that you were either a member of the Mickey Mouse Club, which we could, or if not, certainly, I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were. The last time that I saw him was about, now how long ago now? 4 years ago or so. Met at David Kinnaird Top Table, caught up, had a laugh, and then, as I was told, he didn't remember much after the port came out, which is interesting because if you don't know who he is yet, you might remember him, and I'm going to have to go there, by the nickname that he was given at RAF Bucking. I'll ask him why, because I've got no idea why they would think of calling him Malk the Alk. My lord. Shall we bring him in and find out? Because no, this is Dr. Malcolm Clark, PhD, nonetheless. Welcome to the JFDI podcast, my friend.
Thank you for inviting me, sir. I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, very good.
I'm not in too much trouble for the intro, am I?
No, it's to be honest, it's more Lord Clark, if you don't mind. But yeah, I'll stick to Doctor at the moment.
So let's go straight into that before. In fact, or should we leave it till later? Should we leave the Doctor until later?
Yeah.
And then
you're
can
the
tell
boss,
me how.
I'll follow you.
All right then.
Yeah.
Where should we start then? Should we start right back at the beginning? Right back. Do you know you did say to me when I asked you earlier on, is there anything you don't want me to ask? Is there anything that you don't want me to touch on? And you did say, I am an open book. So, Malcolm, open book. Let's just get into the tunes because, like a few other guests, you've chipped in an extra one. So we'll get through them. I'll be honest, some of these I know better than others, but I'm really interested because I listened to them all this evening and really interested to hear what the story is behind them. So let's kick off with a song by The Who, Real Me. So what's the story here?
Well, most people know me. I was brought up in Scarborough, so modern rockers in the 60s. Obviously, I'm not that old, but in the early 80s, late 70s, the mods and rockers, a bit of a revival. Not so much rockers, but definitely the mods. And always kind of considered myself a bit in that kind of category of human being. So always kind of gravitated towards a bit of Northern Soul. I was listening with interest to Vicky's podcast, actually. Some of the music overlaps that we had. you know, the stuff that she danced to and all that stuff. And was it in her podcast you was talking about talcum powder on the floor or something, or did I just totally imagine that?
No, it was.
But
It was it during hers or Coral's? I think it was back and forward in the comments. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
It was on. I
So
think it
to
was on
help you
Vicky's.
do the dance moves, you see.
Yeah,
But in reality, the Who concept album Quadrophenia, Real Me, was really kind of a relation to my broken state when I joined up. I mean, to be honest, you know, there's a reason that Scopies were accepted. I mean, I joined as a telecommunications operator, right, at TCO originally. And then, of
okay.
course, me being me, damaged my leg in training. And so they said, you lost the slot. So what's all this ASOP stuff about? So they kind of forced my hand into it. Didn't have any qualifications whatsoever when I left school. I think I had a grade 4 oral French. That was it. You know, school wasn't a place for me. It was, you know, my school days were spent in bus stops in Scarborough with my Parker on and boating blazer and jam shoes,
Yeah,
drinking any alcohol that I could get hold of. So, you
right.
know, and to be honest, that kind of, yeah, I know. I was
How
even
old were you
so
at this time?
desperate. Oh, about, you know, broken family stuff. So, you know, 15, 14, you know, broken families, you know, I mean, you know, we all have it. We all
Yeah,
deal with it in different ways. So, to me, you know, Quadrophenia, the film, it was, you know, it was I was 8 when it came out, but it was, you know,
yeah,
the music really did resonate with me. It was, and later on realised how because I was pretty broken.
yeah,
Those who knew me in Buchan, I was a
yeah.
broken lad. I was
How do you
the
think
only
that?
way
How
that
do
I
you think
could
that
cope
came about,
was
mate?
drinking.
How do you think? How do you think that came about?
I think, yeah, I think just social I was just a deconstructed human through lots of upbringing and stuff. I'm not going to blame parents and all that stuff, but it was just, you know, I was just a bit screwed up, I suppose, you know, despite having a kind of middle classy kind of upbringing, really.
Yeah,
But it was a bit messed up. So yeah, so I was drinking and smoking, you know, probably from age 13, 14. So
okay,
uh, to me, you know, the first song I chose there,
yeah,
it's about somebody with multiple facets of personality, and that was me. I was
yeah.
broken, and many of you experienced that when you
Oh
met
yeah.
me. So,
I get. I'm interested in what you know. I guess you really mean by broken.
mm,
Yeah, I mean
I mean, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah. I mean, you know,
sort of
the
psychologically.
absolutely, yeah. There would be, you know, and you know, you know, anybody who wakes up in the morning uh, upside down in one of those giant concrete flower pots outside the Granada is broken, right? Would you agree?
Well, some people would just say that's a good night out. That was kind of
or
staple for some people, wasn't it?
or yeah, or somebody who leaves the Granada by not actually using the stairs and just the power of flight. You know,
What?
it's quite. Yeah, I went down that second flight of stairs without touching any of the stairs. You know, bit broken. So, you know, it's just
What do you think? Okay, what do you think kind of caused that up here? What where do you think where did that behavior come from? You know,
uh,
what do you think yeah, what do you think was driving it?
I think it was probably moving to Scarborough actually, and mixing with a bunch of you know folks that probably were not had a screw loose, you know. My best mate, and well, I don't know why I shouldn't name him, to be honest. But my best mate at the time, I mean, he's in the papers now all the time. But he, a few months after I was, I left, he was up in front of a judge for armed robbery. So
Right.
the guy, yeah, that could have been me. It was like, I don't think it would have been me because it's not my scene, but
Yeah.
he was a bit kind of, off his head a bit, as many people were in Scarborough. It was a real, one of the songs that I wanted to introduce was New England, Billy Bragg. That was what my first opening one, because that also reminds me of the Thatcher 80s in Scarborough. A lot of left-wing activity, these booths trying to sign up socialist workers and stuff. A real, and the mine's not too far away in Yorkshire, so getting shut down. So society in Scarborough around then was broken,
Yeah.
and I was part of it,
Right. Okay. So something's happened that's kind of taken you away from it. What I and obviously that's been joining the RAF. But what I was going to ask you before you tell me how that kind of came about, what was your dream job as a kid?
My dream job, and probably my back wouldn't handle it now, but I was a civil service waiter before I joined up. I
Well, yeah,
loved it. Yeah, I was in hospitality. Absolutely loved
nice.
it. I mean, really loved it. I was great at it. I mean,
Yeah.
apart from pouring gravy on some guy's head one night, that was pretty bad. That was a down bit, And then he
Was that
stood up
intentional
and
or was
whipped
that
me.
was it
He
was
stood
it
up and whipped me with his serviette.
what?
Yeah, just like whipping me with it, Jesus, mate, chill out. It was an accident, So
Oh
yeah, it
dear.
was my dream job then,
Oh, brilliant. So what took you away from it then?
uh,
Was it the fact it was in Scarborough?
yeah, no, I love Scarborough, don't get me wrong. It's a bit of a spiritual home for me.
Yeah.
But I always live near the sea, really. The sea's always been a thing for me, and it's no mistake that I'm next to the sea now.
Yeah.
It just is something about this affinity with the sea for me. I was kind of
How does
forced
it
to join the Air Force
right, okay.
by a parent, so
Ah, okay. Forced.
yeah, yeah,
Frog marched up to the CIO and told, "Get in there."
yeah, yeah,
Crikey.
yeah. A bit brainwashy, but um, but
I'm guessing that
there's
you
no
I'm
point in
guessing
being. I'm
you
not going to be bitter about it, mate, because
yeah. Well,
I
yeah,
am where I am now. So
I'm gonna say I'm guessing that you don't regret it.
no, no, not really.
There you go.
I regret being broken, but
Right. Well, you must be a fair way on the way to being mended now, if not if not perhaps physically,
yeah.
because we're all at that age where physically I think our days of being unbroken are long gone.
I mean, we'll
But
come to it in
mentally,
a minute. Yeah. Look,
psychologically, I think when you've got PhD after your name. But anyway, we're gonna get to that. Right.
yeah, we'll
Let's go
bring
and keep
Sam
it
in and
from.
she can tell you whether I'm broken or not. Yeah.
Well, do you know what? Well, we've only been talking for 14 minutes, and you don't seem
Jesus.
broken to me.
No, I'm not.
So let's talk about Paralyzed by Ride.
Mm, yeah.
Is this got?
First gig
Yeah,
yeah,
go on.
sorry, mate. The first gig I ever went to, Ride 1990, Lemon Tree, Aberdeen. Uh, what a gig. It was
Yeah,
amazing. They were playing all, Paralyzed was the one, with the kind of solo drum. It's just beautiful. The whole gig was beautiful. So it's the first thing. I went on my own as well, bit loner kind of stuff, but it was great.
did you?
Enjoyed it.
Oh, man. Andy
Yeah,
Bell.
no, yeah. I saw them a couple of years ago.
Did you? How
Again,
was it?
not as obviously not as good as 1990, but it was in
Yeah.
Electric Fields in Dumfries.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
festival.
yeah, I think it only lasted a couple of years, but we went to the last one. There was James were there,
Oh
and
yeah,
then who also should have been on this list. I mean, you could have given me 200 songs, but
yeah,
Ride Paralyzed definitely is something that really resonated with me at that time. A lot of
yeah.
Ride songs, albums, Leave It All Behind, all that stuff.
Mm. Yeah. Good band. Good band.
I,
And
I
I
wonder if
quite
many
like.
people remember them.
Oh, do you remember? I quite enjoyed the. Do you remember just before they split up, they did something called Tarantula.
Mhm.
Do you remember that? I quite liked that.
I, I think so.
Always, they're a little bit different, weren't they?
Haven't they? I think they released a new album, haven't they?
Have they?
Yeah, I could
Oh,
have made
oh,
that up
yes, they
entirely.
did quite recently.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So they're
yeah,
still, still pumping out, but not as good as they
yeah.
used to be.
There we go. So
But
that was,
it's just one of those things that reminded me of Aberdeen.
yeah,
Kind of harking back to what Kinners was saying about the Hotel Waller, Wicked Waller and stuff, and spending time there.
yeah,
And Aberdeen, it was the time of my life. Aberdeen, it was amazing. It was
yeah.
you remember it, we all remember it.
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
What would you say of that time? Or like, you didn't? Did you do any tours after Buchan?
yeah, I did a couple, mate. Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you? What would so? What
yeah. I
would
went
you?
to.
What would you? Yeah. What would you say was your standout moment from your your whole career?
Korea. Um, sorry, I had a bit of a laugh there. But it was
What would you call it if you wouldn't call it a career? What would you call it?
stepping stone, mate. Stepping stone. Well, it kind of was really. I mean,
Yeah, a stepping stone
I
to the
ended up
man you would become.
broken. Yeah, I ended up physically broken eventually. So
Yeah.
in '94. So and that's stuck with me to this day. So it's.
Mm.
It's just one of those things. It's,
Or-
but yeah, Bucking in that first, I was there 5 years the first time. I
Yeah.
was there for about 20 minutes the second time, but the first time for about 4 or
What
5
happened
years.
there?
Oh, well, I arrived and my disc had prolapsed again. So I was off sick straight away. I was there 2 weeks. I was off. They tried to put me on one of the mobile radars to see whether because they wouldn't send me down the bunker,
Yeah.
being a bit kind of knackered with my back. So, but to be honest, my back was knackered in Bulmer before I got to Buchan the second time as well. So it was. My back was knackered before I left Buchan the first time as well. So, it's a bit physical stuff all the way.
Yeah. So
But,
what would you
those
say?
4 or 5 years.
Yeah. What is the one moment, one sort of memory that stands out above the rest?
Oh, God, that's such a difficult question because there was so many. Um, you know, uh, I can't nail it to one. I would say, just the starting the day. I think that the 4-day, 4-night Q shift stuff and
Yeah.
having 4 days off, and they
Yeah.
landed on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was always the good thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then you go straight for breakfast at the Palace. Uh, if you remember that, and the time
Yes.
at Henry J. Bean's in Aberdeen and all that stuff,
Yeah.
cocktails, just like lots of memories like that of really unruly behaviour.
You stayed in quite a number of B&Bs, didn't you, in Aberdeen?
Yeah, yeah, certainly did.
What
Terranova, yeah, definitely Terranova, yeah, on Crown
what's
Street.
your what's your most vivid memory of Terra Nova?
Do you know, I don't know if this was Terranova, and I've had a bit of a thing with Stuart and Paddy Neil on comments, and I think it was not a false memory, but it was associated with someone else. It could have been Pat Penn or Scoose or something. But it was at the Terranova, and it had been kind of done. There was a downstairs bit.
So for anybody
And
that doesn't know, we'll just clarify. For anybody that doesn't know, the
Yeah.
Terranova was a bed and breakfast in Aberdeen, just off Union Street, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Can't remember the name of the street, but it was like that B&B road, and it's why we, would stay in there when you just wanted to get on it for the weekend for like a couple of days and not be anywhere near camp.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
it was frequented by Air Force, wasn't it, really? I mean, let's face it. Blokes. I don't remember ever seeing WRAF there.
So what was
my
this
memory,
false
my
memory, do you think?
long one is the last memory. Well, the memory was that the landlord came down as we arrived and said, I want you guys to look after this because we've just had it redone. And then he dropped in a little comment saying that that you've that he did time for manslaughter. So I was thinking, okay, maybe we should look after the place a bit, And roll on, God knows how many hours later in the morning,
And lots of drinking.
and I was paralytic, and I do remember it though. But unusually for me, took a young lady home back to the room with me. And the other guys I was with at the time didn't quite like that because they didn't have a lady with them. So I remember a door getting kicked and the lock flying past my face. But I don't know who it was. It could have been Pat Penn. It could have been Scouts. Stuart and Paddy are denying completely, but I always thought it was them. But that was the thing, and I thought we're all dead.
But you're still here to tell the tale.
Yeah. We left straight away.
Yeah.
Crikey. It was good. It was a great place, Terranova. Let's face it.
Wow.
It's a shame Aberdeen's not the same now.
When was the last time you were back?
Well, Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Or at Buchan. I'm always in. Sam's from Peterhead, so I go there quite regularly. But
in
Aberdeen, I was there 3 weeks ago. My youngest is Aberdeen Union, so 19.
Okay. Oh,
so I feel old.
What's she studying?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's she studying?
History.
Oh, he's studying history.
Yeah, he's a he.
Okay. Not his dad's history, I hope.
An MA in history. Huh?
Not his dad's history,
Classical.
I hope. Yeah.
They know it already. If they were doing my history, they'd be getting A's all the way.
Right, next song.
As you can see, I never shut up.
Next song.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I was so glad.
I mean, this is just you, really. This is you. I mean, it could have been Higher Than the Sun by Primals, but it was it's Primal Scream loaded. Because basically, and like you kind of alluded to a little bit at the beginning, I think we worked out that we had 22 charges between us. I think you were in front in the league table. You had 12 or something, didn't you? I had 10.
I think something
and
like that.
I won one. I won one, drew one, and lost 8. So pretty poor.
I lost them all. Lost 12.
We all remember. We remember. I remember cleaning
12,
cars next to you all the time.
Crikey, I know. Mind you, Andy Holmes was on here, and Andy Holmes had. I'm sure Andy reckoned that he had charges that totaling in the 20s. So we were well fairly well behaved in comparison to him.
Well, I know people who've done time and they're still in now.
So we didn't
Yeah.
do too bad, but they were all
No.
daft stuff, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, to me, I always thought that, you let in a bunch of folks that are, you don't ask if they've got any, if you've got no qualifications, you let them in, you're going to get a crash of bad behaviour for me. And I'm not saying everybody, because there was some real standout. I love my job. Don't get me wrong. I loved that job. There was people who laugh at me all the time because I try and answer every single phone on position. Like MCA, ICA, try to, I'll get it. You know what I mean? All this stuff. I was super keen. I loved it, especially in
Yeah,
the biff to start with. The bunker, not so, but I
yeah,
used to love that job. When they came around the Cape and that.
yeah,
I loved it. And the day went so quick. It was good.
yeah.
But it was the bullshit I didn't particularly appreciate.
Mm.
I was listening to who was it? Kinners was talking about Richie Marshall
Oh yeah,
shouting about the thing about, because Scouse used to do the thing walking around pretending to be one of the bears out of Return of the Jedi. Those stupid characters. That and Richie would lose his rag with him all the time. And I remember Richie, and he was right to do it. I was walking around just at the end of nights carrying rubbish, and I was doing it like a dustman with a bag slung over my shoulder like Father Christmas. And he just come up to me and went, "You come in here looking like Father fucking Christmas again. I'll fucking kill you." I was like, "Oh, okay, Corporal." Just, that's the kind of stuff that the corporals like Vicky, and Jan, and
yeah.
Richie, there's so many of them there.
I know.
Um,
And
and she's just dropped in.
look who's dropped in.
Look who's
Do you
just
want
dropped
to
in.
spend shall we spend 30 seconds having a look at some of the comments, shall we? Because there's a few people
I didn't know
saying
there was
hello.
any.
Yeah, Vicky's in.
Hi,
Uh,
Vicky.
Mr. Camsey, do you know Paul?
Hello, sir.
Remember Paul?
Yeah.
Mr.
Gosh.
Barlow.
Milk the talc. Yes, I didn't see any of these popping in. Going into the cinema, Stuart. Yeah, it was actually. I forgot that. I didn't forget it, but
What's the deal with HMS Intrepid?
Paddy will have more Gen on me than I can remember, to be honest. But we were on there for a couple of weeks for a JMC. I was just trying to, nick fags off the sailors and stuff. I remember one particular thing when Ian and I walked into the mess, and all of the Navy guys, a bit of banter and that. There's hundreds of them. They all started in kind of this cacophony of noise that built up over time with the cutlery. They're going crab fat, crab fat, crab fat, crab fat until it got really loud. And me being me, Paddy's just like, yeah, I'll go and get my dinner. And I just went, fuck off! Like that. It's like, okay. I think that was day one. So it was a long couple of weeks on that
And
boat.
what was the next thing you remembered?
Getting helicoptered off.
What?
Yeah, we got helicoptered off after 2 weeks.
Oh, was that intentional though? Not because
Oh,
you told
yeah, we didn't get booted off. Not that I
Yeah.
remember, anyway. But it was good fun, though. We did enjoy it. It's just a bit of asthma stuff, wasn't it? I got to shoot a gun as well. One of the anti-aircraft guns and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And got to see the Buccaneers in action flying below the bow.
Oh,
Those
nice.
nutcases in the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's absolute nutcases, man. Honestly, they were like submarines almost. They're
Yeah.
so close to the water.
Oh
But
yeah.
Don't know if Paddy remembers that.
He'll,
But yes, I should roll back a bit and say, Vicky, really sorry for my terrible behaviour for those years at Buchan. Must have made you and
what
all the other corporals' lives hell.
what do you remember then about Malk the Alk? I mean, and everyone has a right good laugh, and whereabouts did that kind of I think we know where it came from, but who did it come from?
I would say that to be honest, it could have been a one in thousands of people. Yeah, I loved you too, Vicky. Apart from when you shouted at me, but it was which was every time. Um, I would probably say Kinners, to be honest. I think that phrase was. No, you
Hey
didn't,
ho.
Vicky. You didn't actually. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Every
Hey ho,
time
do you
that
know?
number comes up in something, it reminds me,
And
gives
me,
me some
and me.
PTSD.
Anytime that I see 12:52 on the clock, or any sort of combination of the numbers anywhere, I always have a little chuckle to myself. Yeah. There.
Yeah.
See, she says, "Made you the man that you are." It's true.
Well,
She did. I've told her
she
exactly the
did.
same. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for people, if it wasn't for the likes of Vicky and the start that we were given, crikey, I mean, I don't, I don't know what, where would we have ended up? Like you say, that video in the
Yeah.
Falklands, Oz says, "Say hi to Malk as you were being dragged off to your pit."
The good Oz, if that's fantastic. It was a little wave. They were carrying me to bed one night, and they were videoing me being carried by a couple, probably three actually, and all they got was a little wave from me on the way to bed. Say goodnight, Mel. It was like, "Bye."
Did
They
you?
put me in charge of the bar 3 times. I mean, what's going to happen?
Oh dear, what did
Yeah,
happen?
well, exactly. I get carried to bed every night, and somebody else cashes up.
How
I've got
many? How
that
many?
just for Oz. I'll say that I found that VHS and I'm getting it converted to DVD. So my assassination's on there as well. So be seeing a very young Oz on that video at some point. So I'll
Brilliant.
post it when I see it when I get it converted. It was
Oh,
fabulous.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So listen, here's a question for you before we move on
Okay.
to your next song, because you talked about sort of like that sort of physical
Hmm.
the journey of kind of coming back and having problem with your back.
Hmm.
So the question, and you can take it wherever you want, is like, how important is your health to you now?
Well, Sam's listening in the other room, so better take this seriously. Um, I- you know, and I've been plagued with issues with my back since I was 22. My first disc prolapse was when I was 22. Um, Probably not helping with Granada flower pots and that, but um, and so I've kind of had four backups now, and the last one was in 2011 with a ton of titanium being put in my lower. So it's been pretty bad, like to be honest. And of course, that leads to other things as well upstairs. You know what I mean, with the old
Yeah.
noggin. Um, and I've had conversations with you about the old mindfulness stuff and that, and
Mm.
getting sent to the bad centre for pain and that for a month and stuff. Um, so eventually, I got sent back to Buck and did 2 weeks. The second time, I went to Croyce in Wales, which was a
Ah, yeah.
brilliant highlight. What wonderful people there. Gaz right, what a nutcase. Just so many people there that were lovely. Had a great time. Year and a half, they closed it. We had like we were. I mean, it was a waste of money, really. We were there, and just because there was one GREF square that wasn't covered by 2 red eye sites. So, it was like, so that's it. That's all we're looking at, that tiny little square, So they closed us down eventually. And then I went to Bulmer, and things went a bit pear-shaped, I'll say, to the least.
Okay.
Physically, prolapsed again, second time, 97.
Yeah.
And I was wandering around work, and to be honest, I thought, when I saw first Doc before Doc Tobin, I think it was it Dr. Gunn or something? No, the Gunn's what was the name of the first?
That was
Yeah, he
Gunn,
was the
not the
supplier.
supplier. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ben Gunn.
unfortunately, rest in peace. Yeah,
Doc Sutherland was the first one,
Doc
wasn't it?
Sutherland. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I went in and said, Doc, look, I think my kidneys are broken because alcohol. And then he went, "Oh no, you've got your back's broken." I was like, I'm not sure if I should celebrate here or not. I thought the kidneys are gone through
Yeah.
excessive intake,
Yeah.
and it just, yeah, my back just kept going and going and going, and so, thankfully, I met somebody that, yeah, I got, about a year and a half on, the medical, and then I was discharged in 1999 on New Year's Eve. I mean, you couldn't choose a better date, really, could you, for me?
New
With
Year's
the
Eve.
alcohol relation.
Yeah.
Hogmanay. But
So you
yeah,
were discharged, medically discharged on New
I
Year's
was, my
Eve
friend.
on
Yeah,
1998.
1998.
1998.
Sorry, yeah,
Right.
98.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, flipping heck, New Year's Eve on 1999. You're not going to forget that date in a hurry, mind you.
No, not really. But
Yeah.
it was a sad time, and I really still do miss it. I know it sounds strange because I spent most of the time just cleaning cars, but
Yeah.
with you.
Well, do you know what? I've got that question down there. What was your favourite Janker's memory?
Oh, mate. Oh God, who was it? Ozzy.
Well, I was going
I
to
was
say,
doing.
was it Oz?
Yeah, yeah. It was either he or I power hosed the stripes off a bus or something. We totally removed all the stuff, all the markings off it. I think it was me, actually. That was just funny, and he just wandered around, and maybe Vicky needs to block her ears here because I was about to drop the C word, and I remember she doesn't like the C word, but Oz has got this thing he goes around calling everyone a rum C
Rum,
word,
rum
yeah,
can.
yeah, rum,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, he
So
does.
yes, he does. Bless him. Uh,
Crikey.
it's nice seeing all these faces and that on Facebook and that, and people thriving and doing so well. It's nice,
Yeah, it is.
really
It's
nice.
nice, and it's.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's great. I've loved every minute of
Mm,
doing this. I get a chance to catch up with old friends. I on on some occasions I've had a couple of people on that I've not known as well, and
mm,
it's great to kind of find out what they're up to, and and brilliant to see some familiar faces continuing to watch and some new ones coming
yeah.
in all the time as well.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. I love it. And if that, if you see anybody tonight that you've not spoken to for in a while, then that's a bonus as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
Vicky's just saying she still hates it.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's yeah, it is a bit of an aggressive word, and oh dear.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
sorry to
not
hear that, Oz.
you're not alone with the back. It's
Oh,
I was going to say it's an age thing, but it's not for you because it started when you were like mightily young.
22, yeah, something like that. 22.
So what do you do? What do you do now? How's your health these days?
Oh, it's still pretty bad, to be honest. I'm on some pretty strong pain relief, to be honest.
All right, okay. Any
So
good?
yeah, hey,
Any good?
yeah, not really. I'm
I
trying
think it is.
to.
Should we go on to your next song?
Yeah, it's good at festivals. Let's just say.
I bet it is. Mixed with half a dozen cans of Tennant's Lager just to get you
No,
like
never happened.
going.
Never
Never.
happened.
What,
It's not
Tennant's Lager?
tenants. No. Yeah.
It's not. No, it's not nice. It's not nice. Right, next song.
Yeah.
Next
This
song.
one might be a bit out there for a lot of people, to be honest.
JJ72's
Yeah,
The
do you remember
Improv.
them? Do you
I
remember? Do you
do,
remember?
but not that song.
Oh, what? How can you not?
No, so it was. I listened to it, and I listened to it, and I remembered it, but I was like, the song, yeah, yeah. So
Sorry, guys.
what's the whereabouts does that? How does that cling on to you?
Right, so the loaded is you could kind of draw a line after loaded and say that was pretty loaded during my time.
I meant to show you this.
Oh yeah, what are you showing me? Oh, mate, that's wonderful. Yeah.
My
Oh,
my nephews bought me that
oh,
box set. It's got like there's like two
everything.
vinyl records, four CDs, flipping. There was a T-shirt in there. It's the little
Oh,
booklet. It's one of these. It's like a thing of beauty. They bought it for my 40th birthday. It's 10 years old, and I
oh,
have kept it like pristine.
oh,
Although
it's
I
amazing.
do get the vinyls out every now and again. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But
they
yeah,
together.
I was very lucky on my birthday last week. Sam and the boys all bought me a pretty juicy sound system, but you can kind of Bluetooth it to a pretty good record player. So
Oh, nice.
my vinyls have been coming out. Some old Northern
Yes.
Soul stuff and
Oh,
stuff.
getting
So
down on the vinyl. Yeah, you turned 50, didn't you?
I did, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Many happy returns.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, made it.
So I know. Well, I know. Do you know? I had a message from somebody that there was a lot that, as there will have been for you, that really stuck in my mind because it's a big birthday. Um, and and somebody had said 50.
Mm,
They'd said they'd said congratulations, what an achievement. And initially I was like, all I did was live, and then I kind of like stopped and then went, all you did was live. Oh yeah, I have lived. I have lived 50 good
yeah,
years, and you must have thought the same yourself. That's
yeah,
the one that I kind of come back to. That it's like, what an achievement. It's like, you know, we can set ourselves goals and targets through our life. But in actual fact, I'm a great believer these days in
mm,
stopping and looking back at where we've come from and where we're at now. Regardless of what we want, it's like look back and look at what you've achieved,
mm,
and it was that one for me. It was like 50 years old.
yeah.
So
I've been reflecting a lot myself
have
recently.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
huge amount. I have these really weird dreams as well that I'm still in the Air Force.
Oh crikey!
And the Air
When did
Force,
you have the last one of them?
oh, probably last month or something.
What details do you
It's
remember?
just weird stuff like people are coming up to me and saying, "I thought you'd been discharged." I'm like, "No, no, I'm still on, master control assistant."
I
You
was
know,
going to say, is it someone coming up to you with a manning board and saying, "Mark, get
yeah,
behind the totes"?
yeah, or go and clean the nicotine off the wall. Yeah, there's a couple of buses that need washing.
Do you know the only time that I remember And I don't know, probably it says more about me. The only time that I remember having dreams about work was like during exercises. So, like during exercises when you didn't get a lot of kip, you would work long hours. You would, you'd literally be, it was like 12 on, 12 off, or whatever it was. Sometimes you would do more, but you would get like it stood down for a bit. So I remember in fact, maybe it was a JMC or something like that, and I remember dreaming of EOA. I remember it's weird. It's the only time through like my my time in the RAF is the only time that I remember like dreaming about work was when I was just constantly working. And I only remember it once or twice. I've always been great at switching off. So
I remember we used to have a couple of good EOAs. I mean, Tagrat, who I found out last week had passed, unfortunately.
who was
Do
that?
you remember Tagrat? He used to be a Shackleton pilot. Martin Taggart, flight lieutenant.
Oh yes, yeah, I heard.
He died,
Yeah.
so I've been talking to his son on Facebook Messenger,
Oh, nice.
and telling him how, again with the reflective stuff, and just.
Yeah,
And I also remember when I first arrived, there was this guy, I can't remember his name, but I think he was from Norway. But he kept nipping off to the toilet with his hip flask and coming back stinking of booze. I don't know
crikey.
what rank he was, but I guess he was flight lieutenant equivalent in
Probably
Norway.
captain, I would imagine. A lot of them were, weren't they? So what have you what things you've been reflecting on?
Oh, just loads. Family, lost mum a couple of years ago, which has had a huge effect. Uh, Marriage, kids, just everything that's happened over my life, which has, putting these songs together has helped me a lot, actually.
Is it?
Being able to match the songs to stages of my life. I mean, the improv JJ 72
Yeah,
is a really lovely song for me. And most people may not like it. I mean, I've seen this band; they don't exist anymore. But I had the hots for the bass player. She's beautiful. But she used to wear this long ball gown thing and play the bass. It was just with a rose on her. Anyway, sorry. I digress.
it's
The
all part of the
memory of
story, man.
I know it was at tea in the park just before Paul Weller as well, but saw improv, them playing it. But my kids, all three of them used to sit in the back of the car when they were young, and we'd just put the whole album on, the
Yeah,
first JJ 72 album, and this song they're always going, can you put, I can't remember what they refer to it, put it on, it starts decaying as I am in the first lyrics. So the
yeah,
kids would always go, can you put decaying on? Can you put decaying on? It was so lovely. Just those really all innocent little voices. And then you'd
yeah.
hear them howling away in the back to the song. So
Brilliant.
that's why that song, to be honest.
Yeah. How many
Yeah.
kids do you have?
3 boys. Yeah.
Three boys.
Yeah.
Three boys.
Yeah.
One who's 19 and at university,
Yeah.
and the
So,
and the other.
the first one's 28. He's living in Edinburgh, doing chefing and also helping disabled people at the college for taking notes and stuff for them.
Yeah.
And the middle one is like a fitter.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
we've made his life too comfortable, really, given him a little summer house bottom of the garden, and he's never going to leave home, I think. So I've
Yes, I think
tried,
that my youngest not gonna go anywhere.
made it too comfortable.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So, listen, the question that everybody watching has been waiting for me to ask:
Really?
where did or how did Doctor? I wrote it down. How did Doctor Malk the Alk happen?
Okay, so well, I have to thank the Air Force for this, for giving me no work at Bulmer, there was no job there. There was no real job. We used to sit around playing cards all the time. So I said to the boss, "Do you mind if I go and do to Newcastle College, do a couple of GCSEs? Because I left with nothing, you see." I thought I'd give it a go. So I did English and maths.
Yeah.
Uh, and the English teacher was just fantastic. Maths, never liked it. I've got a kind of math phobia. But English, the comprehension. We did what's his name, Nick, the author, Nick something, does the football, Nick Hornby.
Nick Hornby.
Yeah, did comprehension on that, on the Arsenal game thing. Can't remember the name, but anyway, so I have to thank the Air Force for that, because they gave me a little bit of a bug about wanting to start education again. And then, Sam, my wife, said, I got discharged, so life was pretty crap, for a wee while. I was really, for about a year and a half, I was really in doldrums, as you would be. And I thought, "Do you know what? Thank you, fever pitch. Thanks, Paul." Or Mo, sorry. And then I went and enrolled on an HNC at Aberdeen College, and again started going to pub. I was in a wheelchair then for a fair few years. I do sometimes have to use a wheelchair to get about. Use a stick most of the time. But they used to wheel me down the pub from, from the college in between classes and stuff. So, I was getting back into society. So I went from a kind of deconstructed human being in my mind.
Yeah.
And then I was starting to construct myself again.
Right.
So it was like mounting out to kind of mount the kind of wannabe academic. I got a bug, really.
Yeah.
Did interactive media undergrad,
Yeah.
3D modeling and all that stuff, and then I thought, you know what, and then I met somebody who I'm in touch with to this day, Stuart. He lives in Canada now, but he gave me a chance. I said to him, "Look, I want to do a master's. Will you be my supervisor?" And he said, "Well, a bit busy, but yeah, okay, I'll try and." But he'd let me have free reign, so he just basically came up to me with a couple of papers, like written conference papers, just handed them to me and said, "See what you can do with this." So I made a project out of it, which was like doing classification and stuff, software, really boring stuff for most people. And one of the biggest compliments I got at the end of it, at the masters, I got a bug for doing this information retrieval stuff and seeking. And one of the people said to me, one of the markers, and there was two markers, there was Stuart and another guy who worked for Google, and he gave me basically first class for every single grade of my project. And I thought, holy shit,
Well
I
done,
must
mate.
have done pretty well, you
Yeah.
know. And Stuart kind of with the reality check went, "Well, your referencing's a bit shit." I was, all right, tell me how to do it then. And then one day he said, he said, "What do you want to do now?" I said, "I just want to keep going, I suppose I should kind of drop in that just on the first day of the masters, I had a nervous breakdown from all. I should have spoken to you about this at the beginning, but like I said, I'm open book.
Yeah.
I had a nervous breakdown 2004-5, due to all the stuff that had happened from the medical stuff and that.
Yeah.
And the recovery is still really ongoing, to be honest.
Wow.
But the PhD and Sam's support, the boys,
Yeah.
and family, especially me mum and my sister,
Yeah.
really helped me through. So, it was tough, but just
What
keep
would
fighting, don't you?
what would you say has been the biggest the biggest sort of biggest thing you've learned about yourself throughout it all?
Perseverance.
Hmm.
At one point I was sat in the toilet crying my eyes out for a whole day. I wouldn't
Yeah,
leave the room. And I just thought, I've got to get home,
yeah,
I can't stay here. So I went home and my supervisor was, thankfully, he was a trained psychologist as well.
right,
So he knew what to do,
yeah.
Um, and
So this
this
was like
kind of leads me. Sorry, mate.
yeah, no, I was going to say this was like you said this was your first day
Yeah, my masters. Yeah,
of your masters.
yeah, and
And
all that studying, I crashed. I had a
yeah,
cognitive crash. Not because of study. I mean, I'm sure it helped, but all the stuff of the feeling, the pain of the back, and
yeah,
the operations, all these things. I'd had 3 by this point, um, and I was left with a kind of permanent injury disability with nerve damage after the 3rd one.
yeah.
So it had an effect. It would do.
Mm.
Um, so, you just got, in the end, thanks, Sam as well, totally, without her, I don't think I'd be here, to be honest. But
Well, I'm going to
I
say
have to be honest.
how bad did things get? Um,
Oh, thank you, Vicky. Oh, yeah. Black Death vodka. Sorry, Jay. Stretch. Black Death vodka. Yeah. Yeah, he's dead. I've still got the shirt in the cupboard. How bad did things get, did you say?
yeah,
Or no?
yeah.
Well, I suppose, suicidal ideation, I suppose. Temporarily, of course.
Yeah.
Um, just, uh,
Was there anything? Was there anything that happened that kind of that triggered a sort of enough is enough? I've got to kind of do something, or is it just like you say? Has it been a constant kind of like battle? You said
yeah, you
it's
just
been a
gotta,
constant battle since.
yeah, you just persevere. You just keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, look up at the heavens and go, is that the best you can do? To quote Billy Connolly, you know,
Well,
it's,
do you know? I was just gonna. It's a perfect way to look at it because I was gonna. You've almost answered the question I was going to ask there, which
yeah,
was, what do you do? Because so what do you do on those days where it's not happening? And the last thing that you want to do is even move. How do you deal with that these days? And I think you've
uh,
just answered it.
yeah, Sam just says, be kind to yourself,
Yeah,
and look after yourself and
yeah,
do something that you want to do and not, you know, reading 400 emails,
yeah.
from
Do,
students.
do you know what? It's a lovely, it's something so simple as being nice, being good,
Yeah.
love yourself. As crazy as it sounds, it's so important. So important.
And,
The
yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, to me, I know that, my 5th song, I'm gonna try and hurry you along here, because which I never thought I'd say, but my 5th song is
yeah,
so it resonate. I mean, we're a family of Muse fans.
right.
Personally, I've seen them probably 15 times or something like that,
Oh
every
wow.
tour,
Yeah,
sometimes twice a tour. festivals, Citizen Arrays for me. It was either this or Paranoid Android by Radiohead.
Radiohead.
Yeah, and the Globalization song is a sequel to Citizen Arrays by Muse and their last album, or the one before. But Citizen Arrays to me, I just love that song, especially when and when to me it captures me. It's like this broken person, totally broken. And then I kind of I didn't erase my past permanently, but I erased some things like my need for alcohol so much. And I've tried to create a better person and to help people. That's now my mission, really. I'm not a evangelical by any means, but it's I'm still an atheist, but I very much um um I'm very empathetic with
Yeah.
everybody,
Tell
with
us a
students.
little bit about that mission, because I love the transition description that you gave me, which I'll let you say. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
The transition
That
to
that description that you gave of what was it you said?
the erased. Yeah,
Personal destruction to social construction. Was that it?
exactly. Yes, that was it. Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah,
that that basically kind of, is what I was doing, wasn't it? I was kind of destroying myself, smoking, 50 fags a day and stuff. I mean, that stuff just can't, you can't keep doing it. And moderation and all that stuff, and it's not good for your mental health either. So basically, yeah, that I kind of erased that kind of Mount Me Out, even though that name kind of sticks forever. Um, Doctor Mount Me Out, and now it's and now it's and then come out the other side,
yeah,
and feel like more of a rounded person, I think,
yeah.
um, than
And
I was
obviously
in
that and
hindsight.
that what you've touched on there about trying to help other people,
Mm.
obviously that's a big part of the journey as well. That's a big part of kind of giving you some purpose, giving you something to kind of get up for and kind of, get through the day for, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love teaching kids. They're not kids, and some of them are adults. They're honours year students, for God's sake. Some of them are really mature, or mature than me. And I'm, tomorrow morning, for example, I'm delivering stuff on dissertation and stuff, and
Yeah,
and I love it. And some of the rest of the time, 4 days a week, I'm doing stuff like perinatal peer support groups. Building an app for the place. Sam, similar background to me, works for Children First, which is like the NSPCC in Scotland,
yeah.
Children First Parent Line. So we've been working together on an app, which has been hilarious.
Okay.
Um, and
What
and if she was sat here now, she'd punch me in the arm, telling me to shut up wittering.
All right.
Um,
Are you
yeah,
not allowed to say what the app does then?
it's to kind of help communication and allow um, young people with their mental well-being, so that they can send information to their project worker through a
Yeah,
secure app, and the project worker like Sam can look at it and go, right, somebody's reached out to me. I'll speak back to them and see what I can do. So it's great. I love it.
what
And there's
a
another one I've just
fantastic.
started on this week with the NHS,
Yeah,
doing for pulmonary um, respiratory care.
yeah,
So everything I do, people like always going on about business this and business that and all that stuff. And to me, it's about social. I prefer to do socially responsible projects, not
yeah.
profit stuff. Um,
I honestly, I take my hat off to you. Um, I honestly do. What a wonderful, wonderful story. And I think can I also say as well, because there's a lot of folk, there's a lot of people been commenting tonight. There's a lot of people that have tuned in. Just wanna
Sweet.
look back. Well, I'm going to show some of these messages on the screen. Um, and I just want to say thank you for being so open, for sharing what you've shared with us tonight.
Thank you.
Gary's on. I mean, listen, a nice guy that's doing well on a difficult journey. Lovely.
Thank you.
You know, well done. Keep pushing on. And Mo as well said, what an amazing journey.
Yeah,
No
it
doubt
is.
many more successful chapters to
Yeah.
come. Brilliant, Mark.
I do, I'm afraid that I did break the mold, as you know, and I have to say that I did choose a sixth song, and I'm really sorry, everybody, but this one's for Sam, my wife, because to be honest, without her, I wouldn't be here. Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. We used to play it, you know, continuously we have been for 30 odd years now.
Yeah.
It's just such a beautiful song, and it you know it's kind of where we are now.
Yeah. Do you know, it's a nice, it's a very nice journey. I'm glad you did choose 6 songs because that's worked out really well, and it's a nice song to end on. But
I
before
think
I
so.
let you go, um, I've got a couple of just really quick questions for you.
Sure, go for it.
Believe it or not, you actually answered some of that that I didn't have to ask, that you've actually answered along the way. So top of the quickfire one was favourite gig. You've already answered it, I think, unless it's not that ride gig at the Lemon Tree.
Yeah, I think probably Muse 2001 Tea in the Park. My rib cage
Okay.
nearly exploded with that bass. It was just
Crikey.
incredible. It was
It was a
awesome.
nice festival tea in the park when it was
It was.
early on, wasn't it? I think
Yeah,
it got a bit
Ballado.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
did. Yeah, yeah.
So, what book are you reading for fun at the moment? You notice how I said for fun, because as much as I know that you're probably reading umpteen books for Dr. Malk's next adventures. What are you reading for fun?
You really want to know?
Yeah, of course I do.
Heart of Darkness.
Heart of Darkness.
Yeah,
What
I
what are you
wouldn't.
thinking of it?
It's dark. It's not really fun. It's not. It's not Tolkien, is it? I just wanted to know where Coppola got the script for Apocalypse Now from, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to relate the two. So it's my favorite, one of my favorite ever films. So I just thought I had to read the book. So
What is your favorite film?
my favorite film, probably Inception.
Oh, that's a top film. Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, brilliant film.
Well, yeah, I could do without him, but just the layers of no, it wasn't
Yeah,
Leonardo, was it?
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to forget he was in it, to be honest. I just
All
like
right,
the rest of them. Tom Hardy and that, I love them all. Great.
you've got 100 million handed. There you go, 100 million pounds. What are you going to do with it?
Um, oh, this could be controversial, actually. Have we got? Oh, maybe I shouldn't say, but
Yeah, you've got 100
I
million.
would, I
What
would,
do you
I
do
would
with it?
basically, I would just fund community projects.
What's controversial about that?
Because I was about to say I would fund Indie Ref too, but I didn't want to go there and make it political.
Do you know, it's funny. Not the politics has not really kind of come up, but
No, no,
I'm not.
and
I
I
don't shy
wanted to
away from
not.
anything
No, I didn't want to say
to
it
go
because
down that road.
everyone's got their opinion, and
Yeah,
to
of
be
course they
honest,
do.
I'm working with some great people.
Yeah,
that are very staunch unions. So, and everyone's to themselves. It's democracy.
Right. Fantastic. Well, yes. We'll go with community project. That was the first answer that you gave us.
Yeah, community projects, lots of them.
Community well, yeah, you'd probably get quite a few with 100 million, I reckon.
I think so.
Okay, few more quick ones.
Okay, sure.
You'll
Try.
like this one.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll like this one. Two celebrities. You can go for a pint with two celebrities, dead or alive.
Oh, Christ. God, that is so difficult. Dead or alive? Do you know, I think Roger Waters, for one, he's obviously alive.
Yeah,
Um,
Pink Floyd.
yeah. Oh my God. I think what's his name out the Who? Townsend's a bit gobby. Keith Moon, probably out the Who.
Keith Moon.
Yeah.
Keith Moon.
No, sorry, I'll change my mind. Jimi Hendrix. Sorry.
Oh yes. Well, see, you'd have three. See, it's difficult
See,
there.
I've
You
broken
had
it
three.
again, haven't I?
Yeah, that's cool. What do you reckon that conversation would go like between Jimi Hendrix, Keith Moon, and Roger Waters?
Well,
That
I
could be.
could, yeah, Waters would be just banging on about anti-war stuff all the time, wouldn't he? And and Jimmy would be just going, peace and love, man, peace and love, probably.
Crikey. What? Okay, so one meal
Right.
for the rest of your life. You're only allowed one meal for the rest of your life. What is it?
A meze in Cyprus,
Oh yes.
which is about
Yeah. I see
26
what you did. I
dishes.
see what you did there.
Yeah.
One meal, so you go for a meze. That's a very good answer. That's a very good
26
answer.
dishes, eh?
Yeah.
At
Okay.
least.
Two more questions.
Sure.
One. This is sometimes not a quick fire one. What would you say, JFDI podcast? What would you say is your biggest JFDI moment in your life? A moment in your life where you have just freaking done something without, giving too much, a big sort of right. We're just gonna do this.
God. Do you know, I don't know. I don't know if I can. I think just picking. I think the only thing I can really do is a kind of higher level thing. Is is kind of philosophically kind of just say, just keep picking yourself up. That's all that's
Yeah.
it. I can't really kind of quantify anything or anything
Yeah.
particular. It's just keep dragging yourself up.
Right.
Does that help?
Top man. It's your answer, mate. Yeah, I've been absolutely fascinated with what you've had to say tonight.
Thank you.
Last question. It just seems fitting. And maybe you've just answered it there. But what's next? What's on the horizon for you? What's the plan for the next couple of years?
Well, Sam thinks that I am going to retire when I'm 60, which is complete bollocks. I'm retiring when I'm 55. What's next for me? What's next for me is I am going to build a research base in the Highlands and Islands, and then hand it over to somebody to carry on with socially responsible projects. That's it. It's not about legacy or ego. It's about helping people. That's it.
Fantastic.
Whether they've lost a baby, for example, or they've, fallen foul of the law or something. Just help them. Just pick them up.
If only
Don't
there were
walk past.
more. Do you know what? I'm going to say this on behalf of everybody that's watched tonight. You're an absolute gentleman, right?
Thank
You are
you.
a lovely chap, right? The world needs more Dr. Malcolm Clark PhDs. I honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up.
Thank you.
Please stay in the green room because I want to just have a quick opportunity to say goodnight to you.
Yeah.
But for now,
thanks for the invite, mate. Appreciate
listen,
it.
thank you for
It's been a
coming on.
blast.
It's been wonderful. Just like you say, a farewell message to those that have been watching. A few others, I think you've been reading the messages, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. It was really lovely comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Listen, thanks again, people, for tuning in. Really appreciate the audiences. You keep watching, and I will keep trying to bring people as inspirational as this man onto your screen. Until next time on the JFDI podcast, it's a goodbye from Malcolm and goodbye from me too. I'll see you later.